So, guys, in continuation to where we actually stop, let's see what we have. So, we actually stop here. I said we need to collect like terms. That is this 13W, all right, and this negative 13W needs to be collected. We need to move it closer to each other, right? And then this negative 13, we definitely move to the left hand side of the equation, and then it becomes plus 13W equals to, I still have this 13 here. And if I sum these together, we are going to have it as, that's 26W, right? Equals to 13. And then you divide both sides by 26 by 26. And this, we cancel out this. Finally, W is equals to what? 13 year 1, 13 year 2. Please, do not make that mistake by saying W is 2. All right, take note, please. It's 1 over 2. And 1 over 2 is not 2. Because you might be like, this one cancel out, and the remaining result here is 2. Then if you might end up not adding that 1 that you have up there. Okay, and that's a very big mistake. So this is 1. I still have 1 up here over 2. So I'm left with 1 over 2. All right, and if you have W as 1 over 2, the question says this is the main question: 2W in a bracket with an exponent of 2, or you say with a power of 2. That is the main question that is being asked here. And then I'm going to open a bracket. 2. This W now, we have it as half times, 2W means 2 times W, right? And that should be 2 times 1 over 2. And I put everything in a bracket and I square it. Is that clear, guys? So 2 times half, is that not 1? Because 2 year 1, 2 cancel 2. So I'm left with 1 times 1 over 1. And what I have left is just 1 raised to the power of 2. If you like, multiply this and say the final answer is 2. You are on your own. Oh. The answer is not 2. This 1 squared means you are multiplying 1 in 2 places. 1 times 1, which is what? 1. So the answer is 1 here. Just like saying if you have 4 raised to the power of 2, it means you are multiplying 4 in 2 places. That's what it means, which is 4 times 4, 16. So if you now have 1 square, you don't have to be confused. So you still need to use this same 1, multiply it twice, and that will give you 1. Because I'm very sure some people will end up writing the final result to this as 2, which is wrong. But the correct answer is 1. So, guys, do you understand that? Is that clear? Hey, which part is not clear? Which part? Which part? Which part is not clear? Is it? I hope you understood. You just joined. Okay. Okay. All right. No problem. So, or do you have any question? Any other person? Any question before I? Okay. No problem. Let me just go ahead. So, do you have a question? Please just go ahead if you have a question. I just got a notification sound now. Who is that? Okay, I can't say anyone. All right, Shamaka, please go ahead. I can hear you. Shamaka, you just raised your hands. Your microphone is muted, right? Yeah, good evening. What year? Like the past question I'm using, let me try to show you. This is how it looks like. Is it here? I'm not sure. No. This is the exact past question I'm using. So let me try to scroll up from here. The one with 154 pages, this one here. Exactly. Yeah, just take notes. All right. So now in continuation, we stop at question number okay, question 19. So let me verify the answer first. So according to the solution, we have all these workings, and then blah blah blah. We have one. So one is correct. Next question. We are now on question number 20. So we have 6 more questions to go, guys. So let's see how question number 20 looks like. A cricketer's a cricketer's average in his first 20 innings innings was 15 runs per innings. So after a further 10 innings, his average had already increased to 17 runs. Wow, what was this? What was his average for the last 10 innings? Let's assume you see this kind of question inside exam. What will you do? Guys, like at first sight, what will you do? I used to go into battle with like you want to solve it and get the correct answer. If I'm doing, I'll just leave it and I say I'll just pass because there is too much of repetition now. They don't want to crack my brain. What's all this? 20 innings was 15 runs per innings. After further 10 innings, his average increased to 17 runs per innings. What happened? Are they rapping? What's all this? Oh my god. Seriously speaking, this thing is not really easy, I swear. But there are other simple maths now. Why can't they just give us all this simple maths rather than stressing our brain? And the time is not that enough. It's not really enough for you to think. Sometimes it take you 1 minute just to understand the question. To take up to 1 minute before you now start solving self wahala. Sometimes you even solve self, you get your final result, and you not see your answer in the option. So what will you not do? By the time you spend up to like 3 minutes on one question, or you will give up last. But guys, please always remember we need to give it our best. All right, so just practice ahead and make sure that whichever answer you are trying to pick, always pick it with prayer. So you are picking it like this, just pray along with it. Get. Well, it's not really easy. So let's see how the solution works. Though for this question, guys, this is what I noticed. There are some questions that seeing it at first, I can't really solve them. So I have to just make more research. And I got to notice that some of these questions they are from Quora Digest. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Quora Digest? Like Quora is just like a platform where different scholars discuss about math, not even math, different kind of topics. Not only math, oh, different, they will just go there, drop that question, and they will end up, having a debate on that same questions. And before you know it, that question will turn to challenge problem. And that is where I saw this question. Is it this question? And there's another question too. Somebody posted on the general group for NNPC, and I saw it there too. Okura. Word for word. Okay, can you imagine? Why would they give us that kind of question at first sight under 1 minute? Is that not punishment? So you are not saying that you want to prove scholar. You are your own. If you know you want to solve any question from probably for that exam day, if you want to solve any question, if you pick any answer like this, just pray along with it. Just pray. That's just it. Okay, so I wish us all the best. So for this question now, so based on the solution that I saw online, so there's a particular licensed scholar or a pro that actually gave this explanation, like just a comment, and this was what the person did. So looking at the solution, it says the total runs. Can you guys still hear me? I think the microphone was far away. Okay. So looking at the first statement here, the man said the total runs scored in the first 20 innings. This one here, a cricketer's average in his first 20 innings was since it is still average, no wala now. Let's use that same concept, right? The concept of mean is equals to total of items over number of items, right? Or you call it average, right? Remember. So if average is equals to the total number of items I have over number of items, so that means I'm trying to look for the total run scored in the first 20 innings, right? And they said a cricketer's average was 15. So that means the average was 15. This average here was 15. You get that logic? Was 15. Take note, guys. Equals to the total run scores, which is the T itself, divided by this N is the number of innings, all right? And that is what this 20. So if I want to find this T that I have here now for the run scored for the first 20 innings, okay, then that means I will drop on and cross multiply, and then I have 1 times T is T, and then 15 times 20 is It's 300 based on what we have here. Okay, still 300. Is that clear, guys? Do you understand this first part? I hope you've been able to. No, nah, it's just normal average now. Hmm? All right, let me come again. Let me try to come again. We've done something like this before now. See, for question number 15, that was the same thing that we did in question number 16. I can't remember. Sha. The average, okay, let's say average is 15. Is that clear? Average is 15. First 20 innings. The first innings, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one. So if I try to write all these letters up to the 20th one, which is letter X, I don't know whether that's letter X. You get, and I want to find the average of all these guys. How do you find the average? The average is always equals to A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus this up to the last innings, which is all the totals. Since I don't know what the variables are, let me just call it T total. All right, divided by number of items. How many are there? How many innings do you have? How many? Are they not 20? Get that logic now. And what is the average given? Average itself is already given from the statement. Just understand the question clearly. All right. A cricketer's average, blah blah blah, was 15. That means the average here was 15 equals to, then you get the total run scores over 20. So if you have this kind of mathematical expression, just drop one and cross multiply. And then you have 1 times t, that's t equals to 15 times 20, and that will give us 300. So is this one clear now? Have I been able to answer that question now? Good. Now, thank God that we've been able to sort out this first one. And the funniest thing is that we'll still come back to this guy. Okay. Now, after a further 10 innings, now that means this thing is now being extended. I should have not used ABC. Okay, guys, this is A, B, C, D, E up to X. Is X the 20th letter? Is it X? X, Y, Z. No, it's not. What is it? All right, go ahead. Innings. The innings, the average is 15 years. Yeah. But that's 10, 20. That makes it 30. Yeah, sure. That makes it 30. And then that becomes 17. 5, 10. The figure, yeah, sure. Yeah. And alternatively, we already have the 20 innings. And then for the further 10 innings, probably you have more. You have one, two, three, four, up to 10 of them. So if you add everything together, you still have the total over the number of items now is the distance from here to here. The items that you have from here to here now, they are, let's say they are all 20. With the additional 10 that you have here, that makes it 30. Okay. So that makes it, sorry, 15, and then a further 10 innings. Okay, I think this is given, right? Can you guys hear me? I have an increase of 10, right? And everything here becomes 30. Let's say this is the 30 year times the 17 that is being given here, and then we have it as 510. I hope that is clear now. And based on what he just explained also. Is that clear, guys? And then the next thing that we have here is to find the total run scored in the last 10 innings. So we need to remove it just to get the result. So you subtract these two, and then you have it as 210. So 510, is that 210? Yes, it's 210. So 510 minus 300, that's 210, which is correct. And then what was his average for the last 10 innings? The number of items, should be 10, and that's why we are dividing this down part by 10. And then the total innings for the last 10 was 210 after subtracting it. Okay, which we now have as the which we now have this as the average is 210 over 10. And if I divide this, that will give us 21. So is that clear, guys? Abi, you still want to pass? I should go straight to the next question. Guys, do you understand? Okay, all right, thank you. So now for question number 21. Okay, so okay, we still have like 31 minutes to go, or 41. We still have like 41 minutes to go. We still have enough time. So now this particular question, this one here, what would I call it? It's also inside GRE. It's part of GRE questions, for quantitative reasoning. I was able to detect that because there is a particular subtopic under arithmetic concept. If you are familiar with GRE text very well, like the textbook, Kaplan textbook. Uh, if you check the first thing that you have under quantitative reasoning, the first topic there is arithmetic concept. All right. And under the arithmetic concept, if you check it clearly, they are of two types. I think they try to segment it into two. We have the symbols part and then we have the arithmetic part. So for the arithmetic part, we have a lot of things under it, like exponential, fractions, decimal, blah blah blah. Then followed by rates. Then after rates, there's averages, like subtopics. So there's averages. Then after averages, you see these averages, that's where all these things lies. All these things that we are doing. That's where it lies. The rate, I think, with this one, averages lies here for this question number 20. But for this particular question that we have here, okay, for this particular question that we actually have here, like a work is done by two people, I think that topic was under the subtopic was they call it combined formula. Yes, there's one thing that we call the combined formula. Is a topic that stands on its own. If you check it out, combined formula. And if you understand this combined formula very well, you solve this question in a very nice way without making any mistake. But it depends on how fast you are. Probably you can try to manipulate and then get a final result, depending. Okay. So, but for this exact question, you're going to use combined formula. So, which says that if you have two persons, this formula says if you have two persons on a job, like two persons trying to work on a particular job, okay, and then you want to find the total number of time spent for either one of the person or whether the two persons, okay, there's a formula for it. And the formula guiding it says that 1 over the combined total time taken for the two persons to complete that job. Let's say you have Mr. A, for instance, and they have Mr. B working on a particular job. Probably they are trying to clear off a garden. Okay. So if I want to find the total time taken for the two of them to complete that job, okay, the total time taken for them, for the two persons to complete that job, is that you need to reduce this formula by saying 1 over, you see this CT is what we are looking for. This CT means the combined time taken for these two persons to complete that job is equals to 1 over the time that it took Mr. A to complete that job plus 1 over the time that it took Mr. B to complete that job. Because you might be wondering, from here, I just decided to use 1 over. Where is that 1 over coming from? Don't know where it is coming from. I just said work rate of both together is 1 over 24. Okay. The work done by two people is 24 minutes. Why did I use 1 over 24? Why? 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 You get that logic now. And no matter how it is, if I did not mention this, you might not know what is happening. It's from the formula itself. Okay? It's from the formula itself. If Mr. A, if I know the total time spent for Mr. A to do that job, let's say Mr. A, it took Mr. A 20 minutes to clear off a garden. Now it took Mr. B 30 minutes. Lazy man. It took Mr. B 30 minutes to clear up the garden. So if I now want you to find, if I say find the total time, or the time required for both Mr. A and Mr. B to complete the job, what will you do? Just say 1 over the total time it's going to take the two of them equals to 1 over. For Mr. A, how many minutes does it take Mr. A to complete the job? It's not 20 plus what of Mr. B? That's 30. So solve for C. And whatever you get for your C gives you the final answer to this question. So if you see any question that is similar to work done, depending on how, but if you see that you have two people, no, though that question I used to notice that they used to use the word people most times. They use the word people most times. And this is GRE question. I'm very, very sure of that. A sample of GRE question or probably from other graduate test questions like GMAT. I'm not really sure. Okay. So now I hope you guys understand this formula now. So, and there's one thing, you have 1 minute to solve this question and you are dealing with fraction. Before you find the LCM here, you know what that one will take. It take a lot of time. Fraction of 20, LCM of 20 and 30. Well, it will take time. Even though if you want to use the butterfly formula by saying, let's multiply this one by 30, if you multiply this by 30, if you multiply this one also by 30, then you do this times 20, it will take a lot of time. So inside that same GRE textbook, they said if you are not okay with this formula, all right, use this formula here. If you don't want to use anything like 1 over, I can use this formula which says you need to multiply. You can multiply the total time it took Mr. A and Mr. B to complete the job. Multiply them together over Mr. A plus Mr. B. You can add them. Like, I hope you guys, there are two formulas, all right? Let's say this is X and this is Y. Two persons. The first person represents X, the second person represents Y. So it's either you use the formula 1 over the combined formula, the combined time is going to take the two of them to complete the job to be equals to 1 over X plus 1 over Y. But if I don't want to use this formula here, I'll just say CT is equals to XY, the product over their sum. This is the fastest formula to use. Very, very fast. Okay? And there's one thing I need you guys to take note. Here in this question, they said two people. But what if I say three people? What will you do? If it's three people, you still use the same formula. 1 over combined time taken for them to complete the job equals to 1 over Mr. A. That means the first person will represent Mr. A, the second one is Mr. B, the third one will be Mr. C. And then the formula still remains the same. Just keep adding it, 1 over Mr. A plus 1 over Mr. B plus finally you have it as 1 over Mr. C. Then you stop. And if you want to use this formula here, if there are three people, that's X, Y, and Z, right? So I can use the combined time taken for the three people to complete the job should be X times. I know for the top part, remember that it is times. We are always multiplying. Take note, X times Y times Z over. Then for the down part, it will be X plus Y plus Z. Remember that Noah said we are multiplying up here and then you are adding down here. Not that you come across this question now and then you see five people and then you want to remember this formula and then you be like, Noah said what? Let me remember. Is it X plus Y plus? Yeah, your own. So it's better you cram this formula now. All right? It's X, Y, Z over X plus Y plus Z. For the top part, we always multiply. I repeat, for the top part, we always multiply. For the down part, we always add all the peoples together. For the top part, you multiply all the people together. The total time it took them, you multiply them together. Then for the down part, you add them together. So I'm going to clear these two formulas. If you can take a screenshot, please do. Because I'm going to clear it now. Okay, so let me go ahead and clear this. Now, guys, I'm going to use the two formulas. So you go for anyone that you want, anyone that you prefer. So I don't want to do it one after the other, 1 over 24, 1 over 40, then because you don't know what's going on here. Except if you want to cram my solution. Because I use 1 over 24. Can you explain why it is 1 over 24? Okay, what if you come across another question? How will you know what to do? Yeah, I use 1 over 24, I use 1 over 40, and then at the end of the day, I subtracted. Why did I subtract? Why? Why? How? What if I change this question to 3? Can you still use the same method, the same approach to solve the question? That's a major thing. So that's why I always try my possible best to link up the real source, the references, where it is actually coming from. Whether it's coming from a topic or from a subtopic. Okay? So guys, what I notice here is that we have two people. Let the first person represent X and the second person be Y. You get that logic? A work is done by these two people in 24 minutes. That means the total time that it took these two people to complete that work is 24 minutes. That's the combined time. So according to the formula now, I want to use the second one first, okay, which is CT, the combined formula for the persons, for any persons that you have, time taken. This T, this multi means time. Time taken that it took the two of them to complete the job is equals to what? Since I have two persons, do you remember that formula, guys? Remember that Noah said you are going to multiply the top part and they are going to add them together at the down part. All right. And then CT, trivially speaking, CT means the combined time it took the two of them to complete that job. And from this statement here, it says a work is done by two people in 24 minutes. Is this not 24? That's 24. Now, if one of them can do this work alone in 40 minutes, one of them, so is that you use X, either this one or this one, you still have at the same answer. Okay, so let's say Y can do the work alone in 40 minutes. That means Y is 40. Y can finish that job in 40 minutes alone. So they are now requesting for the other person. How much time is required to do the same work for the second person? That means I want to look for X. So this is X times. What is Y? Y is 40 over X plus. What is Y? Y is 40. So if I drop one and cross multiply, my final result will just be 20, 24. We multiply this guy, or let's do it this way. So am I recording? Let me confirm, please. Thank God, though. I forgot. So, guys, now 24 is multiplying this. So I always love to multiply. Let me just multiply this and this first. 40 times x is 40x. 40x times 1 is still 40x. Is equals to, now 24 times x is 24x. Then plus 24 times 40. So I decide not to multiply it. Like me, I answered that exam or in a hot seat, and you still want to go and do 24 times 40. If you are fast, shall if you can do that, shall no problem. But I don't want to go with this. Like, this is going to take a lot of time for you to do this inside the exam or even though for you to use the on-screen calculator, it take a lot of time. You still have to come here, press 20. No, you can go with this then, 20 times 40 if you are fast enough. Right? But what I did was I still left it like that. 40x is 40x. 40x times 1 is still 40x. And this 24 is multiplying x plus 40. So I use this 24 to multiply x, see it here. And I also use this 24 to multiply 40. I left it like that. Okay? Then I'm going to take this one to the left hand side of the equation. And I'm going to have 40x minus 24x. So I'll be left with 24 times 40 here. So what's 40 minus 24? 40 minus 24, that's 16. Am I correct? Yes, thank you. So once I get here now, I can easily break it down by saying 4 year 4, 4 year 10, 2 year 2, 2 year 5. Hey, okay, I think I'm still on the way. I'm still getting it right. And then 2 year 1, 2 year 12. So what's 12 times 5, guys? Thank God though, 60. Finally, I got it. 60. It would have been very, very easy. They know what they are doing. This one will take a lot of time for you to solve due to the fact that the work done by the two people was given. Had it been the work done by the two people was not given, let's say this is what they're supposed to look for. And then we already know the work for the second person. Let's say the work for the second person was given as 60. And while the other person, the first person was 40. It took the first person 40 minutes to do that work, and then let's say it took 60 minutes for the second person to do the work. And if I want to find the work done by the two people, so that would be CT is equals to x times y over x plus y. So what is the first, how many times does it take the first person to complete the job? Let's say it's 40, right? And the second person called 60. But I'm multiplying for the top part. For the down part, I'm adding 40 plus 60. Okay, so what's 40 plus 60? That's 100. So you have 40 times 60 divided by 100. This zero can cancel this zero. This zero can cancel this zero. Then 4 times 6 is what? Is 24. It still give us this one back. You see that now? So it's better you understand the basic concept rather than just, mastering what you are seeing in the solution. You just follow it up. Okay, the subtract. Okay, good. That I understand. That's a big fat lie. If you don't understand the basic concept, you find it very difficult to answer some questions. You get so. I hope that is clear, guys. Is that clear? All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let me use the second one. So the second formula too is going to work. So can I clear this? All right. So for the second formula now, we have 1 over the combined time it took the two persons to complete the job over the first person, 1 over the second person. Now, this is where the subtraction is coming from. I can easily show you where the subtraction is coming from. This is the first person, this is the second person. We actually know the number of time it took the first person to work alone, and that means x is 40. The combined time is what? Is 24, right? Based on what we have here. And then the first person, it took the first person 40 minutes. That's 1/40. So what we are looking for is this guy, the second person. So if I take this entire fraction, this fraction I have here, to the left-hand side of the equation, then it becomes 1/24 minus 1/40 equals to 1/y. And that is how we come about this guy here. 1/24 minus 1/40. This is that logic now. So if you solve for this fraction alone without cross multiplying, whatever you have down here should give you 60, and you take this to your y as 60. You don't get. So I need to find the LCM of this guy. Which one do you prefer, guys? LCM? I don't know. It will take a lot of time. 1/24 minus. And let's use the on-screen calculator and see. 1/24. 1 divided by 24. So, but you have to write this in full if you like yourself, or else there will be truncation error. But if you take the first two digits or three decimal places, and then at the end of the day, you not get 60 on dot. I'm very sure of that. Except you write it in full. That's one thing about numbers, like arithmetic itself. So I don't think this should be the best approach. Don't let us use calculator. But let's see how can we actually solve this in less than this. That's why I don't like using this formula. Because I have big values here. You get that logic now? I have big values here, and there's no way you can actually reduce this. And then that means you have to find the SM of 20 and 40, 24 and 40. Let's confirm then. Should Okay. So that means you guys will take note of the entire number that I have here. 1/24, right? Please write this down. I'll ask for it later. Write this down in full. Six in how many places? One, two, three, four, five. No, four, six. 4, 6, and 1, 7. Please write this down. Then we need 1 divided by what? 40. Is it 40? 40. Then we have this as 0.025. Okay. So remember that we want to subtract them together. And the first one was what? Remind me, please. Then minus that's 0. Is it 0.25? See what we have here. So we have 0.016666667. And that is, this one is equals to 1/y, right? This thing here is equals to 1/y. That means y will now be equals to 1 over this one here. You get that logic? Do you understand? Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. After subtracting this, we have it as 0.16. What do we have there, sir? 0.16 in 5 places. 0.167 equals to 1/y. Okay. So if I drop one and cross multiply, this one will multiply this, and that is 0.0166667y equals to 1. Remember that we want to look for y. You still have to divide both sides by 0.0166667. 0.16667. This one will cancel this one, then I'll be left with y equals to. So I want to do 1/this. That's what I was trying to explain. 1/, that same answer. So then I will now have it as 60 on dot without any error. So I'm going to press 1 divided by, I can't press answer from here. That means you need to type it in full. 0.0166666 Five places, Abi, seven. Then I have 59.99998. And the reason why it's not even 60 on dot is because according to scientific calculator, you're expected to have nine decimal places after this decimal point. There are still other things that are missing from the initial value given. You get. So that's why we don't have exact 60. But normally this is absolutely 60. It's approximately 60 rather. All right. So is that clear? Huh? Okay, no problem. Let's see. Do you guys have any question? I think somebody just raised his or her hands. I got a notification sound. That's from Juliet. Do you want to say something? No, no, no. Okay, okay. All right. So let me just proceed. How many minutes do we have left, guys? 20? All right, 21 minutes left. Okay, guys. We have more questions to solve. Let's try to. For number 22, find a number. I don't know the number. Just call it X. Okay, find a number. I don't know that number, but they said whose double exceed its half. What is the double of that number? Is it not 2x? Thank you. If this 2x exceed its half, do you know what it means? If I say 4 exceeds 2, do you know what it means? It means 4 minus 2. Based on what problem? That's what it means. That is, this 4 is greater than 2. Is okay, 4 exceed 2 with what? And how will I even put it safe? English don't tire me. 4 exceed 2, just taking that is 4 minus 2. Do you understand that? Do you understand that part? Is that clear? Good. So the same thing is applicable here. Find the number. The number was x. Whose double? I have it as 2x. Exceed its half minus its half means what is the half of that number? Is it not x over 2? Okay. Exceed its half. That's half of what? That number. Half of that number. It's not one of its times. One times x is x, it's still x over 2. Okay? Exceed its half by exactly, this exactly means equal to exactly 99. So solve for this guy. That's all. So you need to interpret this, just this one statement. And you can't interpret it clearly. You're on your own. Oh. If you don't interpret it correctly like this, 5 minutes you are still solving. You are not careful. So now once you get here now, what you can actually do is to multiply all through by the LCM. I think that's faster enough. So just drop one here. Remember that I said this one is in fraction. How many terms do we have here, guys? This is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term. The second term is in fraction. So let me write this in fraction. Let me write this one too in fraction. So what is the LCM of 1, 2, 1? The LCM is 2. So you multiply each of the terms by 2. So I'll take this. Kudus, why is it Bonjamin? Come on, Lotto two. Johnson. So I have LCM as 2 here. So I'll take the first term here and multiply it by the LCM, which is 2. And I'll put it in the bracket, followed by a negative sign, followed by x over 2, multiplied by that same LCM, which is 2. You put it in the bracket too. And 99 over 1, multiplied by the LCM. Then if I multiply this one by 2, I'll have it as 4x minus 2 cancel 2 here. I'll be left with x, I'll be, thank you, equals to 99 times 2. I think that should be very easy to do. 8198. Then 4x minus 3x, 4x minus x rather, that's 3x equals to 198. And if I want to divide both sides by 3, by the coefficient of x, what's the stubborn x is 3, so you divide by 3. So then I have x is equals to 3 goes in 19 how many times? 6 times. Remainder 1. And 3 in 18, that's 6. Then I have it as 66. So you see that number that we are looking for, that number is 66. I can confirm. If find the number, that number is 66. Whose double this guy? That should be 132 Abi. They said it exceed its half minus what is the half of 66? It's not 33. And it's exactly 99. Is it 99 after subtracting? Absolutely yes, it should be. So you have two options now. If you know you can't, if you know you can't interpret. This is smartness way of it. But it's just that before you can actually get to the final result, you'd have tested for option A, for option B, for option C, before you now come to the right one. Because if I take the first one out, 33, for instance, whose double? The double of 33 now is 66. And the double exceeds half of this. If I see this one, half of this 33, that will give me decimal number. In fact, that is out of it. I don't need to even proceed again. You get that logic now? Do you understand my point? You understand my point, right? If it exceeds half of 33, 33 divided by 2 will give me a decimal number. And if I continue that way, I can't get exactly 99 no matter what. This is in decimal, I can't get 99 on dot. What of 44? Find the number. If I pick option B, 44, I'm very sure for you to test for this, it would have taken you up to like 10 seconds. I'm very sure of that. If I take the second option too, 44, and I double it plus 44, then I have 88. If it exceeds its half, minus the half of 44 is 22. Will I get 99? Absolutely no. 88 is not even up to 99. So if I subtract this, it will not give me 99. So this one too is wrong. If I do the same thing for this one, it will be wrong. So you have spent up to 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. It's until when you get to option D, that's when you now verify that it's 99. Then you go for the right answer. That's only if you can't interpret. That's it. So is that clear, guys? Okay, so now let's move straight to the next question. I don't need to rub this off. You can take a screenshot though, okay? Now for the next question, that's question number 23. So this is the working set. I think it's the same thing with what I've explained. Yeah, sure. It's the same thing. Then you divide both sides by where is two coming from? Okay, I use another method there. I actually find LCM, then cross multiply. So see another question there which says two cogged wheels, of which one has 32 cogs and the other one has 52 cogs, walk into each other. If the latter turns 80 times in three-quarter of a minute, I can interpret this part. Let me interpret this part first. 80 times in, okay, sorry. 80 times in, this 80 times is just like a value, it's just like 80 over, and this three-quarter of a minute means, what's three-quarter? Three-quarter means 3 over 4 of a minute. But based on turns, when it comes to number of turns, okay, thank God you can see, say you can see seconds now. So three-quarter of a minute. I can't use minutes. I can't use 1 minute. A minute means 1 minute. I can't use 1 minute. So that should be 60 seconds. And then 4 year one, 4 in 60, that's 15. And 15 times 3 is what? Is 45. So this is how we arrive at this 80 over 45 for this guy here. Turns per seconds. This is what we are going to have. And if you reduce this, you have it as 16 over 9. Okay? And what happens to these two guys here? We took the ratio of the two cogs and the 52 cogs. Okay, see it here. 54 cogs over 32. That is the ratio of the number of cogs. Then we have this. Okay. So now that we have this result and then this one, okay, we can then find the turns for this first one here, for this particular cog size here, we can find the turns per second for it. This one that we calculated is for the turns per second for 54 cogs. We have it as this 80 over 45. Now, if you want to calculate the number of turns per second for this 32 cogs, you are going to have it as the product of this guy and this guy. That is 80 over 45. You multiply the ratio of the cogs, which is 54 over 32. So you can use a calculator to do this. I would advise you to use except if you want to reduce it yourself inside the exam or you use the on-screen calculator. It depends. So if I try to reduce this, your final answer will give you 3. Okay, then we have the result here as 3. Remember that we still have how often does the other turns does the other turn in 8 seconds. So you multiply this 8 by this 3, then we have it as 24. So I don't want us to waste too much time on this. Just go through it and then, yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead, please. First, and this one came second. Is actually based on this word that is being used. The latter, what is call it? The latter, which is for this 54 cogs. You get this one comes after that. It comes after the two cogs, right? This is the other one. So I'm using this 54 cogs for this expression here. Do you get that logic now? It's based on this particular word that is being used. You get that logic now? All right, thank you. So now let's quickly move straight to question number 24. So guys, once it's 10 p.m., then we are going to use extra 15 minutes or 30 minutes just to clear up the abstract reasoning and the spatial reasoning as usual. All right. Okay, I'm with you, man. Go ahead. No, understand, person. Okay, we have two cog wheels. The first one is 32 cogs, and the other one is 54 cogs, right? And they walk into each other. There's a statement here which says that if the latter turns 80 times in 3/4 of a minute, so I'm going to get the turns per second for this latter, and that is for 54 cogs. So for 54 cogs, how will you find the number of turns? How will you find the number of turns? According to the formula for this number of turns, we already have it here. They gave us the turns as 80 times. Okay, sorry, 80 times. The turns is 80 times, just 80 times. Okay, in what? In 3/4 of a minute. What does 3/4 means? 3 quarter means 4. Okay, of a minute. A minute means 1 minute, right? This is in 1 minute. But based on what we need, it should be in seconds. All should be in seconds, not even in minutes. Okay, so what is one? If you want to transform, how many seconds do you have in minutes? That's 60 seconds. So you have 3/4 of means times, and 1 minute is 60 seconds. And then you go ahead and reduce this. 4 year 1, 4 in 60 is 15. Now, what is 15 times 3? 15 times 3 is what? Is 45. And the number of tons for this latter should be what? 80. 80 tons. 80 times, which is 80 tons over. Okay, I'm trying to find the ratio over what? That should be over this result, which is 45. And then we stop here for this part. Now, what is the number of turns for the second cog? Because what we have here now is is the turn for the second for the other, which is from this word for 54 cogs. Now, how will you find the number of turns for 32 cogs? Just take the ratio of the other one by this same cog, which is 32. But it's coming from 32 is equals to 54 over the number of turns, depending. Yeah, I'm with you. No, no, we are going to use this first the initial one, over the initial one. Please take note. So we are going to have 54 over 32. Okay, so this is what we have now. We have this result and then this result. So how will you find okay, sorry, this is the normal ratio. Sorry for that. This is the ratio for the number of cogs. Sorry for that. To find the ratio of the two cogs, all right, the ratio for the two cogs, that should be 54 over the ratio for the two cogs should be 54 over 32. Okay. Now, if you now want to find the turns, okay, with these 32 cogs, that should be the product of this and this. All right. So you multiply them together. And if you multiply these two together, what is 80 over 45? times 54 over 32. So you are free to use your, you can use your calculator there. 80 times 54. 80 times 54. That's 4320. 4320. Please take note, guys. 4320. And then for the down part, we have 45 times 32. 1440. So what's the first one? 42 what? Divided by 1440, Abi. Am I correct? So you see that is another particular law. That's 3, right? So that means if I solve all these ones like this, number of turns for this 32 curves should be 3, and the 6 is 3, and they want to find how often does the other turn in 8 seconds. Just multiply it by the number of turns, which is 8 turns, and that should give us 24. That should be 24, Abi. Let me check. Yes, that should be 24. I'm very sure this thing will have its own formula, just like the way we did for this guy, that combined stuff. But I'm not sure that I've come across such problem before because it's related to work too as well. But just take note of how it works. And that's all. So for the next question, or do you have any question before I proceed? Well, there is any question? Okay, next. How many minutes do we have left, guys? Okay, 7 minutes. All right, no problem. So we have this question here which says a snake slides through a long cylindrical hole in the ground at 6 centimeters per second. So as far I can see 60 centimeter per second. This is speed, oh, like something like meter per second or kilometer per hour. So as far I can see hour with respect to seconds, that's speed. Is that clear? So the speed is 6 centimeter here, right? That's the speed of the snake. The speed that it took the snake to slide through the long cylindrical hole is 6 centimeter per second. And then the length of the hole is 7.5 meters in length. So if the snake take 40 seconds to enter the hole, how many seconds does the snake take to exit the hole after entering it? Well, this will be their problem. Which kind of question is this? Okay, so now length of the hole is given to us as 7.5 meters because the speed is given to us in centimeters. So it's better you just approximate this, or sorry, convert this to centimeters. And how do we convert how do we convert from meters to centimeter? Times 100. Thank you. Times 100. Just multiply it by from meters to centimeter, just multiply by 100. But from centimeter to meters, you divide by 100. Is that correct? Do you all agree with that? You divide by 100 if you are doing the vice versa of it. So if I convert this 1.5 meters to centimeter, I have this result as 750 centimeter, right? Centimeters rather. And the speed of the snake is 6 centimeter per second, right? So they are requesting for how many seconds, which is time. From the idea of speed is equals to distance over time, you can solve this question straight up, no stress. Okay, because I want to look for the seconds, which is the time. So if I drop one and cross multiply, they just want to use this one to convince you. I'm very sure of that. There's no you can actually have more than two times here. Just use this one directly, and then you have st is equals to d, or you say d is equals to st, and then you divide both side by s. So the time that I'm looking for is equals to the distance over s, and the distance is no longer distance; it's actually the length of the hole. You get that logic now, right? And the length of the hole is already 7.5 meters. But because the speed is in centimeters, and for me to convert this 6 centimeters per second to meters, it might not be very easy. But this one is very easy for me to convert to centimeter. So then I have after compound I have 750, and then the speed is what is 6. If I divide it, that's 125 seconds. So I hope that is clear, guys. Okay. Now this is the last. Okay, second to the last question. So let me try to zoom. Wow. Okay, I think it should be at the back. Number 25. Sheyi, during a half price sales, bought a book for the usual price and the second book for a half usual price. If she paid 90 kobo for the two books, what was the usual price for a book? Get a CPU. Okay, let's calm down and understand. During a half price sale, a half price sale, if the sale, I don't know how much the sale is, but I'm taking the half price sale. I didn't even understand this. Okay, she bought a book for the usual price and the second book for a half usual price. Okay, let the usual price be X. Abi now, let the usual price be X plus, and I'm not sure that I'm going to multiply or plus. Okay, let's see. The second book and the second book for half of the usual price, that's X over 2. Yes. Now, she bought a book of this and this. Okay, that is X plus X over 2. If she paid 90 kobo for the two books equals to 90, what was the usual price? I think this should be the right expression. Yes, this should work. So then remember, this has a fraction. I have three terms. This one have a fraction. So I need to put over 1 here, over 1 here. The LCM all through is 2. So I'll multiply this one by 2. I'm not going to show the working so. If I multiply this one by 2, I will have 2x plus. If I multiply this one by 2, 2 will cancel 2, I have x. If I multiply this one by 2, I have 180. So that's 3x is equals to 180. And then divide both side by 3. Hope I'm not too fast, yeah. 3 here 1, 3 here 60. So we have 60 kobo. Since X, they said what was the usual price for a book? Is X not the usual price? And is that not what we have? So that's 60 kobo. Is that clear, guys? Okay, let me come again. It's not that it's not clear. How many minutes do we have left? Less than 2 minutes. I still say it's not clear. Okay, no problem. Actually, let this usual price be X and let the second book for half the usual price, and that should be half of the usual price. Is that not 1 over 2x? You get? And he bought the two books for how much? She paid 90 kobo for the two books. That is x plus x over 2, right? Which I can write this one as x over 2 is equals to 90 kobo. So just solve for this guy here. Let me clean that case so that you not. We have less than 1 minute to go, Abi. So you have been doing this. We have been doing this before now. Like multiply this one by 2. That will give us 2x. Multiply this one by 2. 2 will cancel 2. I'll be left with x equals to this one times 2 is 180. So what is 2x plus x? There's an invisible one here. That's 3. 2 plus 1, that's 3x equals to 180. Then you divide both side by 3. Then you have it as what? As 60. Is it clear now, guys? So we have one more question to go. That's because I want x to stand alone, and this 3 is disturbing this x. 3 serve as the question for x. So you divide. J ẹ̀fọn ti wọlé. Àyíwá ẹ tilẹ̀kùn jọ. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? If you do what? Why you wan kill Kudus? Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Wetin cause up? Okay, when my wait, I never shop o. Ó lè bú tọ̀dọ̀ mi, mo rí ìjẹ́ pọ̀. Okay, màá bá iṣẹ́ kún gbà ẹ̀. Omo, I no stop recording.